Spoilers ahead, fucknuts.
Here come the bros, you know they're always blazing, talking movies, TV, and all the things amazing, from superheroes to sci-fi and comedy galore. Read me with all the content, they never get bored. It's the two bros in a pod show, they're taking us to town. Oh, covering all the flicks that make us jump and go out. Superhero movies, action and some comedy. Their podcast is the place to be. They're two big buddies, never missing a beat. Their witty banter, they make us all complete. From old classics to the newest releases, their honest reviews give us all the pieces.
I am honored to have you here today to tell your story and bring your story to justice. You know, a 40-year injustice against Centipede in his own game. You know, that little guy's
I'm really
gonna
glad
pay.
you got past your coke addiction.
Me too. It's a testament, Mr. Centipede.
Why you gotta bring that up again, man?
You know, I'm proud of you.
It was
you know.
never. It was never.
I mean, I got some coke on me right now, but like, just don't.
What? Hold on. This is a fucking stage fucking event. God damn it.
I mean,
One second.
I was never on coke. No,
Shit. Ooh. Sorry. You know, you're good though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I am.
This isn't hard for you, right?
No. Not at all. No.
Oh, that's grilled.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Well, welcome back, Pose.
Welcome.
Hello.
We're
Hi,
here for a
guys.
very special episode. We have Marty, Silas, as usual, my co-host, and me, Leon.
Silas and Leon.
Yes.
The two pose. It's good to have. Good to be here, guys. I
Yeah, it's
appreciate
always
it.
good to have you, Marty.
Yes.
But we got a very special episode today. We're talking about the new Marvel MCU movie,
Fantastic Four.
Avengers Doomsday.
Doomsday Secret War.
There's been a lot of Marvel news in the last few days, but we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, which is actually the first Deadpool movie to officially be in the MCU.
It's
Because
a good description.
before
Silas.
he was in, the Fox universe. When I guess still in this movie, he's in the Fox universe,
Suck
but
it, Fox.
through the plot in the TVA that many of you got introduced through Loki and got to know through Loki, he's brought to the MCU in a way, I guess. But yeah, we saw this movie on opening night with a huge crowd. I think it's one of the biggest crowds we've actually been with in a movie theater recently, besides maybe like Dune 2, right?
Yeah, I think it
was a bit bigger than that, though.
I was about to say, I think it's even more because everyone was basically shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I had a seat next to me was because snobs didn't want to jump up and get past everyone. Decided to sit in one of those, I think the handicap seat.
Yeah, he
instead, right
didn't
in
even
front of
sit with us. He was just like, screw that.
He didn't want to climb through all the spewing. He's like,
I love how there was.
Oh,
I love how there was like a whole like 5-minute thing when he was like walking through the theater, and we were trying to like get his attention, and then he like walked towards us, and then he was like,
Oh.
we were like pointing at like 2 seats that were
Yeah.
open, and he was like still confused, and we were like, God damn it, Sinobs. And then ultimately he just sat in like, the handicapped seat. He's like, I'm taking this one. Fuck it.
I mean, he got good seats. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very, very fun night. Very fun movie. R-rated, so it was pretty crazy to be with that big. I think that's the biggest crowd I've ever been with for an R-rated movie. I feel like there's like 10 other people usually in a theater when I see an R-rated movie.
It
so.
had been a while since I had seen a movie with. I think maybe Guardians 3 was
True, that- yeah,
was
that-
a massive.
Yeah, that was
showing.
huge. But we saw that like 2 days early, didn't we?
Yeah, and
we saw it in
IMAX.
IMAX
We
and
got to
the
see
whole
the
marathon thing.
Yeah.
But was Guardians 3 rated R?
It wasn't,
Okay,
but it was
yeah.
still a good turnout.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for a Marvel film, like that was probably
I think that's the last time they've had this much success that they've had
right.
at this level of Deadpool.
at this level, yeah. Maybe even more with Deadpool.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
again,
as of this recording, it's already #1 this weekend. and
maybe it was just a
like,
bigger theater for the IMAX showing that we were seeing, because it was
yeah. I
you
think
know
it was
there was a
definitely
lot of
bigger
people in that theater
than our local
than
theater.
our local theater that we saw it at. Like, I'm sure if we saw it in an IMAX theater, there would have been the same amount, if not more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, from what I've been seeing, that is actually usually a lot of the case, because I've been I wanted to take my cousin actually to go see it, but he's, as he say, he doesn't want to go when it's super crowded, and everywhere
I saw
we
they got
look
like 10
at,
a.m.
it's-
showings
oh,
of this, so you
it's
could probably
crowded.
do like a 10 a.m. or something, and that would be pretty dead.
You know him. You think he's getting his ass up at 10? The lazy bastard.
Hey, just get him in your car and everything. Just wake him up when you're at the theater. Hey, John, what do you got? Huh? We're at Deadpool. We're going to 10:05 a.m. showing. So you wanted to go to a dead one. This is probably going to be the only one where there's like barely any people here.
I feel like it's still even gonna be crowded somehow. It's just-
Oh, definitely.
But
Finds a
I just wanted to give a warning. You know, obviously this has spoiled it, but I think for this episode in particular, people are really going to care about spoilers. But
go
we will-
go see the actual movie. Before,
Yeah.
before
Seriously.
this.
we
this
will be
next-
going into spoilers here. It's kind of hard to talk about this movie without going into spoilers.
yeah.
So, and since as of this recording, you know, the first weekend has passed and it's already #1 at the box office, we're going to be going into full spoiler territory. So
Right.
be warned. Be
Yep.
warned. From here on out, there will be spoilers.
As they say in every episode, spoilers ahead. Fuck nuts.
Exactly.
Now let's get into the fucking review.
Yes. So what did you boys think of this one?
I mean, amazing. I literally can't stress enough how Marvel needs to take this format and run with it. But I don't want to see a similar situation that we got with Thor Ragnarok, where
that everyone loved that, and then they try to repeat
and
the
then they
success.
try to repeat the success of it, and it takes over everything, and it
True.
changes. You know, I do
Oh,
not
yeah.
want to see that format become the new. Like, I want that to be.
But I guess even though it was a new director, like this was very much in line with Deadpool 1 and 2, like the humor we got with those films. Like even though it's Disney now,
guess
like it hasn't changed.
Guardians
it just
kind
got
of
more
cemented that too
ambitious.
as well,
That too, yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that-
Oh, when every like Marvel movie seemed to copy the James
same-
Gunn Guardians
yeah,
fucking feel.
Because the
same
problem Thor
format.
had was
Ugh.
those first two movies were so much different than Ragnarok.
and it's
in
like
a way that was like they were the weakest ones of the MCU.
when you strike
so.
gold once like that in a superhero genre, you really it's difficult to strike gold again.
Yeah.
On the same spot, you really need to shake it up a little bit and
Oh,
change
totally.
your direction to be able to like bring the audience something that they'll still love and enjoy.
Yup.
You know, and that's why with the announcements of that we've heard recently, you know, it makes the new Avengers films kind of like a huge like gambit right now of like what
Yeah.
is the success of this.
Dude, I get it.
Yeah, Gambit.
Dude.
Speaking of Gambit,
Yeah.
we got a lot of cameos in this movie.
We got
Oh,
so many cameos.
A lot of X-Men D-list villain ones that have been in previous X-Men movies because there's been so many of those. They had a lot of those like Toad and Juggernaut.
good old Jugs.
Ooh,
a lot of other ones that are, like I said, so D-listers that I can't even remember their name, but I recognize them.
They really tickled the superhero early 2000s fucking.
Oh, Sabretooth.
They really tickled that boner.
Sabretooth we got. But yeah, then there were some other ones that I was like, damn, I feel like they were only in like one X-Men movie. I can't even remember who that character is.
Well, you also got
like,
other classic fucking heroes from the early 2000s, such as Elektra,
Yeah.
fucking Blade of Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes
is
was
back.
amazing to see on screen again.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
has not lost a beat either. Like he looks just like he did 20 plus years ago.
I was about to say he does really look good. The only thing is he's just got a white little goatee and that's it.
I just
And
feel
I'm
like once he puts
damn,
those
look,
white,
man's
I just feel
looking
like once
good.
he puts those Blade glasses on, like he just,
yeah.
it's just he's good.
There will only ever be one Blade.
Yeah, that's what he even said himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Might hint at
Imagine that was
something.
just
That might
imagine that
be
was just
hinting at
off.
something.
Totally
Imagine that was
hinting at
off
something.
script.
Oh.
You imagine.
they're just like, you know what, fuck that.
We'll
We're
work
keeping
that
it in the
in.
movie. That's too great.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, no, you know what? Tilt up the blade.
And then we got X-23 returning, Laura from Logan.
Which was another heavy hitter, but I also feel, and this is something we can talk about too, I don't feel like Laura got enough screen time.
Well, that's, I think, the part of the
and
problem.
it's not her movie, but, like, you know, that's a huge character to be bringing back.
She also, though, is a very quiet character.
She
always
is,
has
yeah.
True.
But the thing, like, they probably didn't want to change that aspect of her being the quiet. But it would be cool to see her more in, more action scenes with her.
It would have been good to maybe give that maybe another minute or two with her on screen talking with Logan, or like, I mean, you said it, didn't you say like you went to the bathroom at one point?
Yeah,
and it was already
during
over.
Literally during her like one main scene, basically,
Yeah.
where she's talking with Wolverine and everything. I had to use the bathroom.
And
So
it's-
bad.
And that's really the last line she has in the entire film.
Well,
Besides, like,
it was
a
definitely one of
couple
those
fighting
hard
lines.
movies. Like, if you got to take a pee during this movie, it's one of those hard movies where you're like, shit, like all these cameos they're throwing at us and everything. Like, where do I step away?
Yeah.
And then obviously the big one that a lot of people are going to forget is Chris Evans returning as Human Torch too.
Oh, totally. Yeah. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was not ready for that.
I was laughing at everyone thinking it was like Captain America, even Deadpool was like, here it comes.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Well, they really
Avenge
got
it,
you.
Flame on.
He had that.
Just,
He had that
What?
cloak on. He had that cloak on, and then he had like these pants on that almost looked like Captain America's pants.
Yeah.
But then when he flames on, like you see that he still got those pants, but like his top part is literally like the Fantastic Four
Four suit.
outfit.
he just baffles
yeah.
everyone too. It's just the funniest little like,
Yeah.
psych moment.
But I think part of the cameos is like a lot of the fun with this movie. It's kind of got like a No Way Home thing kind of going on, where like No Way Home, I think, paid tribute to like all the Spider-Man movies. So like the Tom Holland ones, mainly, you know, obviously that was a Tom Holland movie and he's the main person, so it was obviously going to pay tribute to him, but then mainly Toby and Andrew Garfield's versions, because they had a mix of they had a mix of them in there and some of their villains.
So how would you have felt if you saw Toby in this?
Oh, I would. This would have been a 10 out of
Just-
10 for me, right from the
I mean,
the
anytime
spot.
you see Toby in anything.
You know, I went in with my Toby shirt on, my
An
Toby
instant 20 out
Maguire
of 10.
Spider-Man 2
Instant.
shirt. I went in with that on, like I do with most MCU movies, just sitting there praying, like, please let Toby
Please.
be in this one.
Just show him real quick, and I'll be happy.
Just a little
Please.
cameo, just a tiny, tiny taste of Toby.
Yeah, that's all I asked.
But no, we got enough.
But there was
feel.
enough that like whereas No Way Home was a tribute to the old Spider-Man movies, Toby and Andrews, this was a tribute to the old Fox movies.
For sure.
Like Fantastic, because they did
Absolutely.
Fantastic Four, they did Blade, they did Elektra and Daredevil, and
Please tell me we got Magneto.
Oh,
He's dead.
damn it,
Dang it.
Now Disney gets cheap.
but like I think that was like a lot of the fun with this movie, but I think also, like you said, that was like kind of an issue with it too. Not really a big one in my mind, because I
Not
still
a
had
big
so
one,
much fun with
no.
it.
No.
But it was kind of like I said to you about Willem Dafoe in No Way Home, where I'm like, I wish there was a scene with him and like Toby or
Right,
something.
yeah,
like they're
you'd
just gonna
think.
be things as a fan that you're gonna wish for, or
But
just
that never get
loving
to
them so
see.
much you just want them like just
Sure.
for another minute, or you know, you want them for even more than a minute, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, even if I could just get another minute or two, like I feel like that would have made it a little better.
I mean,
And does
there's
that make
so
or break
many-
a film? No.
No,
Like,
exactly.
It could in some cases, but like in this case, in Deadpool and Wolverine's case,
Yeah.
absolutely not. There's so much that works in this film. Like, it's an absolutely knockout of the park for
Yeah.
Marvel.
dude, I was like praying for a John Bernthal Punisher moment.
Oh,
I'm
right?
happy they actually mentioned
At least he got a
Punisher in it.
mention,
Yeah.
yeah. Unlike
But I mean, we're
Which
getting
Punisher? There's like 5 of them.
yeah, we're getting Daredevil and Punisher soon. So
Yeah.
like, you know, we're gonna have that team up eventually. Like it's in the works. It's
Yeah.
literally being filmed.
Dude, I want
exactly,
or
it's coming out in March
mastered.
supposedly of next year.
I just want John Bernthal to fucking and Ryan Reynolds in the same movie for some reason. It just feels like a
That's the next
funny-ass
one,
moment.
Deadpool and Punisher.
I mean, I'd watch it.
I mean, I would totally watch
So
that.
the only thing that wouldn't work about that is like it would still be a similar dynamic to Deadpool and Wolverine, but
I know.
Punisher doesn't have healing abilities, so
They're
No, you
just,
just get cool gun shit out every fucking like a fucking pulling out a rocket launcher out of his ass.
I
out of
mean, you
nowhere.
basically that's the Defenders, but that was
Yeah.
not done well.
But yeah, I really liked the cameos here, and I think kind of like you thought, Marty. Like, I love them, and it's almost the fun of the movie, and it's almost like a big thing with the movie, and like them just having fun with it. But I think it's slightly a flaw with it too, because when you include so many characters in one of these things, or something like Avengers or whatever, I feel like it's hard to give everyone like a spotlight moment. Like, I think like the only two that have really been able to do it well is maybe like the first Avengers movie and like Infinity War.
Not everybody
But
gets
then
a
you
speech.
But then you get ones like Endgame or like Avengers 2 that are still good movies, but they're including so many characters. I feel like as a fan, if you like certain characters or like how they did something in Avengers 1 or Infinity War, you're going to watch Endgame and be like, why are they focusing so much on the original Avengers? Like, I thought, from what I just saw of Infinity War, like we're going to be getting more Spider-Man or more Doctor Strange or something. And, there's just going to be certain cases where with the story they're doing, you're going to feel like certain characters get a little sidelined. And like that ultimately I think is kind of a good thing, because I think it's better to feel like you want more when you leave something,
Sure,
rather than to feel like, I don't want any more of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm full on that, so...
we've been praising a lot of the different cameo characters. What about the just the funny little references to in the
Oh, there was lots of them.
like the beginning? Let's look at the beginning where Deadpool was just going through looking for Wolverine.
Yeah, you got like every Wolverine variant ever there, pretty much.
Dude, I want the Wild West Logan.
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan movie.
Yeah, he
looked
so badass as that too.
Just fucking Deadpool just going up to him. Well, come on, bud. You're coming with me. And just instantly just gets shotgun from buttload to poncho.
They did the Wolverine first appearance where he's fighting Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
And then
He's
they
right
had
behind me, isn't he?
like a couple different arcs that I'm not even really as familiar with, but tons of different Wolverine costumes that you were seeing.
I still love the Short King Wolverine.
Yeah.
Short King is just making
Short
King. Just like,
that was so
aren't
funny.
you a cute little Short King? Just
Only thing I was saying to you, I love that part, but I was like, they should have gotten Danny DeVito to do that part.
that would have been great.
Right?
I would have loved that. That would have been amazing.
I know, right?
Oh
Like,
my
holy
God.
shit.
But
Like,
then you
everyone
wouldn't have
would
been
have
able
lost
to
their
like
mind.
joke about like, like the pull away where it's like he looks like a normal Wolverine and then it pulls away.
Yeah,
short.
true. You would have just known
You would have
as
just
soon as
known
the
as
second you
soon
saw
as
his
the
Danny
second-
DeVito
yeah.
that he's not going to be. Imagine they did the opposite, though. Like, it's Danny DeVito, but he's got, like, Hugh Jackman's body.
That would just be so weird.
It's like a side view. He looks normal, and then once he turns around, he just looks at you directly. It looks like Danny DeVito. What?
The fuck?
Well, I mean, they
Okay.
did that with the Calvarine, which was
Yeah, that was
another
amazing.
phenomenal
Like,
phenomenal
It just
scene.
felt so right.
Do you think that was their way of kind of...
We'll treat you so much better than the people down the street.
Do you think that was kind of their way of, like, testing the waters with him as Wolverine, too?
Oh, sure.
Like, it's just kind of... Because, like, I feel like he's been one of those casting suggestions people have thrown out there for who to be the new Wolverine.
Yeah.
So I think that was just their way of literally going, like...
We'll test
We'll only
it.
have it in there for a second, but we're going to have him in the Logan garb and everything,
Yeah.
the beard and everything, and see how people
I
feel
like
about it.
The reaction to it at this point is well received.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that could be something that Marvel does take in a direction.
Oh, totally.
100%. And which comic franchise is the one? Or I'm trying to think of the which one is it where they had Wolverine basically crucified during? I'm trying to think of the actual.
I think that was like Children of the Atom or something like that.
I think you
from
might be
what
right.
Austin told us.
Yeah. Oh, that was actually such a great reference. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that scene in the comic.
But if like you're a huge fan of X-Men, like, holy shit, is this the movie for you?
Yeah.
Because like I said, like, I haven't watched a lot of those X-Men movies recently. The only ones I've seen recently is First Class and X-Men Origins Wolverine. But if you like did an X-Men binge before seeing this, like I said, they got a lot of those.
This is an ending.
Yeah, this is an ending for them, and this is a lot of D-list ones that were in those movies, maybe just in one X-Men movie or something that they threw into this. And they might not even have a speaking line, but you'll shit yourself and go, "Oh my God, they're there!" Like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Like, and there you will get a fight scene with them at least, you know.
I am
Now-
actually very happy they didn't fuck up the whole Logan storyline either.
Now,
Except kind of using his body, which was
That's
amazing.
not
though.
foggy with the storyline. That's just funny.
that was a great scene.
Yeah, the opening, just him dancing to fucking
How do you guys feel with NSYNC?
In Sync. Yeah.
How do you guys feel overall though? Like, without all the cameos, without all these like Easter eggs and everything else, like as a base story, how does this track? Does it tell a good enough story without all that stuff? Like, do you find
Honestly, I think the story here is kind of weak.
Yeah.
I think like, and this has been a problem with Marvel recently. Like, I don't think they really planned out like this with Loki or anything like that. Like, I think they just went like, how can we get this? How can we get a version of Logan? How can we get Deadpool to go with the, and they were like, well, we got this TVA thing.
Right.
And like, and they kind of made it work. But to me, it's still kind of, I don't know, confusing, I guess.
Because like, does
didn't
the
Loki
main
Loki ended
characters
with him
hold up?
fixing everything, right? Like Loki ended season 2 with him fixing everything, and like he was the one holding the timeline together now.
He became the new nexus point of the multiverse, I think.
So like, I guess that means there could still be problems.
Yeah.
There
but,
could still
like,
be problems.
He's
yeah.
the one holding it together.
He's just making
basically,
sure
from
not everything
from it
goes to hell,
completely
but
falling.
Yeah, he's basically
He's the one keeping it from
fueling
completely falling apart.
Yeah, so it doesn't die.
Okay.
Out,
He's
with,
like the
Pretty-
entire multiverse.
yeah. Like the entire multiverse is literally only alive right now because Loki is
Yeah.
fueling it.
I just feel like there's a lot of like jargon kind of bullshit stuff that like doesn't make the most sense to me, or they're not explaining well enough that like
Yeah.
I watched this and I felt slightly confused with like how it compares or how it relates to Loki, I guess.
I mean,
And they had was it B15 or whatever?
Yeah,
She's in-
B12.
Yeah.
No, maybe that's the the vitamin B15.
B15.
whatever her name
whatever
was.
her name is.
They should have given her a name, then we'd
I
actually
feel like-
remember it better than
yeah.
it being a number. But
Yeah,
but she returns in this.
she's great. I mean, her
I feel like
actor
this
is
was kind of the
amazing.
most fun she had with that character.
I liked
too.
the romantic tension between her and Peter.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Like,
I
feel
really
like that's
hope
just.
that
I feel like
gets
that's gonna be something
continued.
they just pick up in one of the future ones.
I mean, like Peter has a charm to him.
And like, so like I was saying, like kind of like with the character cameos, like you just said about the story. Like honestly, I do kind of feel it's weak.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I was like, I don't really care though. Like this is just so much fun that like.
and that's all.
And
That's
it's a
what
comedy
the movie is.
too, like that. Like
It's-
it's not taking itself seriously enough for you to really poke the
Yeah.
It's a
to
Deadpool
really
film.
point out all those holes that are in things. You know,
It's a
Yeah,
Deadpool
it's a-
film. It's not going to take itself seriously.
I'd say
Exactly.
Deadpool doesn't even take his own comic seriously. So,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just
And,
actually
and that's
feels Deadpool.
all the fun of it. You know, as a
Exactly.
fan, you get to go in and laugh when Ryan Reynolds is like being Deadpool and saying, "Stop doing the multiverse because this shit's whack." Like you know,
So honestly,
it's
like
been steadily great since Endgame.
I feel like the approach you have to go into with it is almost knowing like it's not taking itself seriously, but they're gonna reference a lot of different things,
Right.
and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna relate. Like I said, not on a super level where you have to see Loki or something, but it's gonna relate to the TVA, which was set up in Loki and stuff like that. So like, if you're a big MCU fan or you're a big X-Men fan or you're just a big Marvel fan in general, there are gonna be things there that it relates to or it connects to, but I don't think it does it in a way that like entirely makes sense
Sure.
in some cases. But like we just said, like that's kind of the fun of it, is just like this one not really having to take that into consideration as much like you would with maybe an Avengers film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I know everyone was complaining about the time travel with Endgame, and it's like I can see why people would bring up something like that more, because that's a movie that is like not a comedy, it's taking itself very seriously.
Right.
So whereas this has time travel stuff in it, or like at least multiverse stuff, or kind of both, it's like it's not taking itself seriously, so like who gives a shit?
Yeah, you're
you
hearing
know?
Deadpool basically making jabs no matter what. at every
Exactly, and
single
it's making jabs
thing
at
like that.
those things that they're doing, or
Right.
that they do stuff like that. So I think honestly you just got to go in with like, if you love dumb fun, or if you just love
Deadpool
stupid
movies.
stupid humor in movies, this has loads of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has loads of references that like, whether it fully makes sense or not, it's a ton of fun, like those references and everything. So it's just, you kind of got to let that part of your brain, you got to turn that off, I think, when you go into this.
Right.
And if you do, I think this is like one of the best Marvel movies they've released in a very long time, besides like No Way Home or Guardians 3. I think like so far since they've done Endgame. I think those are like my top 3 basically at this moment.
Yeah.
It's like No Way Home, Guardians 3, and this.
And you know, regardless of everything that we said too, like I feel as if it does bring these characters to Disney the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they didn't force it. Like ultimately they saved the Fox their timeline, so they're not in the MCU now.
Right.
They're still in Deadpool's.
I think they definitely
world.
landed it.
And I liked that. I like that too, because like I always expect with these things that like, especially with this, like I'm like they're gonna end it and he's gonna be in the MCU now, like, but like it's gonna be a happy ending. And in the end, it was a happy ending, but they still saved his universe and everything. So I'm really curious, like, how they're gonna pick it up from here, because you know, like we said, this is kind of his introduction to the MCU because of the Void and because of the TVA and stuff like that.
Yep.
But otherwise, it does take place in his universe.
And his universe is now
And it's
part
saved.
of the timeline.
And yeah, and
Universe Prime.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you think they're gonna pick that up with like a future thing? Like I was thinking, like maybe with Galactus that they're bringing in. Like I know he's a planet eater, but like maybe they could make some difference with this version. Like maybe he's a multiverse eater or something like that.
So, all right, so basically, Logan has to get a 9-to-5 job, and he's now roommates with Deadpool, and it's the shenanigans they get into.
Logan,
it
you
becomes
need
like
to
a
get a
sitcom.
job.
It becomes the Deadpool and Wolverine sitcom.
Logan, you can't just sit on the couch all day.
I imagine there's so many directions that they could take
I
this.
still want the sitcom idea.
Yeah.
Disney Plus sitcom show.
I mean, it would be amazing.
Get Wesley Snipes in there too, and I'll get some other Fox cameos going on in there and stuff.
We're definitely going to see Laura in the Young Avengers, I feel.
Oh yeah, because she was the only one. So towards the end, they have a big battle in the Void, and there's that monster from Loki that like eats things in the Void.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and Wolverine escape through a sling ring portal right before that thing like eats everything.
Yeah.
And you see X-23, Elektra, Gambit, and Blade like all kind of just looking like, ah, shit, I guess we're fucked. But at the end, X-23's there. So even though they didn't show Blade or Gambit or Elektra, I'm to assume that they made it out.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, from when they talked to the time lady, I forget her name, the
B-15 or 12 or whatever we were saying her name is from Loki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they basically, when he says he just wants them to return to their timelines, those other guys could be from other timelines, essentially. Elektra, Blade, and Gambit. But you know, X-23 is X-23, right? That's her.
Yeah.
I'm like making sure the name was right. But she's from that universe. She's actually from the Logan universe.
Yeah.
So that basically that's why she's there with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually her
didn't
proper
Blade-
universe she was meant to be in.
Didn't Blade say that like his universe was about to get destroyed and then like they offered him to come there and everything?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
What about you, Marty? Do you remember anything like that?
What was the question?
I thought Blade like at one point said like, yeah, my universe was like about to be destroyed, and then like
Knock on the door.
yeah, or
Yeah.
something like that, basically. So
Didn't
like
even give him a chance
obviously
to fight for
he
the
can't.
universe.
Obviously
yeah,
he
I
can't
see
go
what you
back
mean.
to his universe.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So I'm thinking like
here's my
maybe
question.
he's dead, but maybe they'll bring him to the main universe.
If Laura was in the Void, how the fuck did that even happen? Because Deadpool's universe still exists, and his universe is where Logan's dead and buried. So Laura
why
came
was
from
Laura
that
there?
universe, so that means Laura had to have been individually seeked out by the TVA in her own timeline
Yeah.
and sent to the Void, which makes zero sense
Know
to
how I
me.
think it
Well,
makes
from
sense?
in the
No, I
TVA,
think it
they
makes
basically
sense.
kind of describe they just get rid of people they think it might be too much of an issue to their plans.
How so? Where was that shown?
Basically, when they're describing it, kind of in the very beginning, where it's some point during when Deadpool is talking to Paradox, and he basically kind of just references or no, wait. No, I think it was when Deadpool talks to the rest of them. Because he was asking why they were there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they
I just
basically
think-
deemed us too much of a problem in our universes." So
I
they
think
just send
it's
us here.
Before they... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That makes
In-
sense if you put it in the context of they deemed them as dangerous like people that would stop them, so they
that's what I
got rid of
assumed,
them.
yeah.
Well, know
so
what I
they
think
could
it
do
is?
it.
I think
Okay,
I think
that
it is.
maybe
That's
makes
what I
sense.
assumed.
I think you're right to think about it kind of in a weird way because it doesn't really make sense because Logan takes place in the future too,
Right.
like 2026
True.
or maybe even the 2030.
2029.
True.
Yeah, it's like something
Yeah,
like that.
I watched a.
So then,
review of
if you
Logan
think
again
about
after
it, if Deadpool takes place this year, like in
Logan's
the
still
year it came out,
alive.
Logan would still be alive, whereas that hasn't happened yet. And not only that, but if he if he took out his body, it wouldn't be a skeleton yet either.
Unless
So,
Deadpool
like-
and Wolverine takes place
in the
in
future,
the future.
2040s or something.
in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
2040s
Yeah.
or something. But
It's just
then,
really, it's that it doesn't make any sense. But it's
how
just
old
one of
is
those
Laura?
things that you just gotta.
What's the difference between Laura's age and why is she aged up too?
That's what I'm saying. It
It
doesn't
could-
make
maybe she
any
was just
sense.
in the void for so long, and
She wouldn't even be born yet.
You know the way
Imagine
I
maybe the void just
you know the
doesn't
way
work
I
weird.
see it
I
though.
don't
It's like we
know.
said, like this movie like has things that don't entirely make sense. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of their way to jab at the Fox X-Men universe too.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things with those X-Men movies where you go, dude, this shit does not make any sense. Like this timeline does not make any sense. You know?
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of just their way of going like, you know what, fuck it. We want X-23 in Marvel. Let's just do this. Doesn't even make sense, but fuck it. That universe is gonna be done now. So
Yeah.
people aren't going to ask questions about it anymore because she's going to be in a universe that does actually kind of make sense now or does have more thought put into it of like long term rather than the X-Men universe where clearly they were just doing one movie at a time, not
Sure,
thinking
yeah.
about the long term of those movies,
Right.
you know.
They weren't.
so
They weren't. There wasn't an overarching.
It's kind of funny to think maybe that the movie actually does take place in the future now. Just some stupid.
you know you're going to get people online that just go crazy about it trying to figure it out. So it's like let them do the work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to me it just doesn't make sense, but like we said that's not really
That's-
what this
that's-
movie's trying to do and it's
absolutely.
just something that
It's not.
it doesn't really need to be considered as much.
Go
with
into this film not looking for this to make sense because it's
Yes.
not gonna. You need to go into this film with the expectation you're going to see a lot of people that you've missed and get an ending for them and maybe get an ending for your main characters in the film.
It's a real.
Know what it's
closure
kind of
movie.
like?
It is.
It's like if you had a
is.
really good dream or something, like how dreams don't make sense, you know?
You just wake up, you're like,
You're like, that didn't make any
Ah.
sense, but man, that was cool. Like Blade and fucking all these other ones. It was good to
All my
see them
favorite
again.
guys were there.
God, that was the best dream I've ever had, even though it made zero sense.
turns
like,
out it was a dream, and Leon wakes up and he's just like, Deadpool Wolverine isn't
Dude,
real.
wake up! We gotta go see Deadpool versus Wolverine. It's
oh, maybe Toby will be in it in this real reality.
Dude, wake up! We gotta go see. What's a bad matchup?
Dude, wake up. We
We
gotta
gotta-
go see
Mobius and,
Electra and fucking Morbius.
Mobius and Venom. Dude.
Morbius and Venom.
No.
You got the cursed reality.
It's probably still PG-13 too.
No, it's PG. They went down.
We want as many people to see this as
No.
possible. But
It's just like the Deadpool PG film where it's just like all like Morbius like sitting at the bedside of somebody. Just
what'd
like,
you think of
my God.
what'd you guys think of the villain in this?
Oh, great! Cassandra was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sad we got a one-off villain again. I absolutely hate getting one-off villains. I think this is something that Marvel needs to stop doing because it's getting really old.
Because I actually thought the villain was kind of weak.
I
But I
actually
thought she
didn't.
did a good job, the actress.
I thought
But
she
I thought the
was,
villain was kind of weak, and I didn't really
like
understand
power
her.
level wise,
No, just weak. Like they weren't a very
Character-wise,
good
so-
villain.
character wise.
Yeah, because I was like, what is her motivation really? Like, I feel like it was just.
Well, it seemed like Cassandra had been happy in the void, and the
Uh-huh.
moment she finds out the TVA was backing against their deal, she was just like, "All right, I'm gonna leave the void and
Yeah.
make the void the only thing that's left."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense in my mind because like this is literally a deranged person that has literally
Mm.
grown up in the void. Actually, it doesn't seem like she was like born in the void though.
She was taken out of the womb, I believe. They teleported her while she was still in the womb.
That's fucking wild, dude.
You know what I was
No
thinking?
wonder she's insane.
And this is
dude.
just me because I'm like one of the rare fans of this show, but I thought it would have been really cool if they, instead of doing Cassandra as the villain, they did Legion. Because Legion's Professor X's son and is like kind of like a villain in the comics, and they could have
that could have been cool
brought
too.
that actor back to play like Dan Stevens, who's in a couple different things. He was in that Godzilla, Kong, New Empire. He was that guy that came down in the Guardian ship, basically.
The overglorified monster dentist.
And he's in Solar Opposites. He replaced Justin Roiland as Corvo. I think it would have been really cool to like maybe even have done him or something where it's like you kind of already have their backstory established, but then it could have been another cool reference thing to kind of pull from. But like I said, I didn't dislike Cassandra. I just thought it was kind of like
as like a villain.
Yeah.
I mean, like I could see him as a really fucking cool cameo or even a supporting character.
Yeah.
Like if they, like if they had more time, I guess. Like the runtime was. I personally feel the runtime was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't feel like it went on too long.
Didn't seem the drag for me or anything.
There was no real lulls at any point. I didn't think.
I think the beginning was the
maybe
slowest
the beginning
part.
with Happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was loving the beginning though.
But it was still very engaging.
Yup.
And like there's lots to love in that scene, the Easter eggs, the little, and this is points in the movie that we need. You get rid of that point and you lose motivation for Deadpool, for Wade as a character, as a person, and that's what this movie needed more of, I feel. Because, and I did like the message of like he wants to be an Avenger, he wants to be an X-Man, and he's doing it because he wants it, but not, they need it, they want,
I think one of the only other things, I wouldn't even be someone that takes off points for me too. I just thought it was like, having seen all three of these Deadpool movies now, is kind of something I was like, all right, you guys need to move on from this. Was, like I said, even though everything I saw I liked, and like, it doesn't really take off points for me, but it was just kind of something I've noticed of all three now, where I was like, you guys keep doing this, huh? But that whole, like, at the beginning, how it starts off, like, at the midway point, and then they kind of go, like,
yes.
Let me recount you of what we did. Haven't they done it for all three
they've
at
done
this
that
point?
for all three of them at this point, I'm pretty
just
sure.
Like, I feel like you guys, like, really need to move on from this at this point.
Maybe, the first time it was good. The second time, I don't even remember how they did it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's when you keep redoing a gag that other things have kind of done before too, it just gets less special each time.
It's funny. It's like you said. It'd be funnier if it was like a one-time thing, but then the fact that you realize it is all three where they do that, you're like, huh, that's an odd.
It's like they're trying to figure out how to do the story. Yeah,
I know it's like a fourth wall break type of fucking gag about it too.
Like I said, it doesn't take off points for me though. I just kind of noticed that, and I was just kind of like, why do you guys keep doing it like that?
Is
like,
I
feel like you don't need to even do it in that sort of way.
Yeah.
Like, it could have just gotten to that point. Because then it almost feels like, to me, when they do that sort of stuff, it almost feels like, and I think they even did it in the second one or something, but when they get to that point where at the start of the movie, it was like the middle point or whatever, and they get to that point finally, it's like they get to like that point and then they zoom through it, like almost go like fast forward mode a little bit, and then get to, okay, now we're at the point where we left you off where right before we did the flashback.
It's a very fourth wall-y,
it is.
It's very on brand for Deadpool.
It is. It makes
as a
sense.
Character. It makes
and that's
sense,
why I think it doesn't take off points.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is one of those things where I'm like, I feel like you guys need to figure out a different way to sort of do that fourth wall thing, but not in this exact same way every time.
Where it's this. It definitely gets annoying, I feel, after the third time seeing that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see that every movie that you watch.
Exactly.
That's a Deadpool movie. You're going to get that every time.
Yeah.
You know one thing that did seem a little weird to me about though in the thing?
What?
Well, how they kind of set up Paradox to be kind of the main villain, but I feel like they kind of shoved him aside for Cassandra in the back.
Oh yeah.
Not dissing Cassandra at all, really, in her thing. It's just
where it seemed like he was the one kind of pulling the strings or the real villain.
They kind of set up like it's the idea of they make him feel like he's a big mastermind manipulator in the beginning. But then you kind of fucking realize he's just kind of a dumbass.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't really
stupid with his ideas.
I wasn't really seeing him as the ultimate villain at all, really, because I kind of saw him more like a fake opponent almost in the story.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were really setting up with him. I was kind of thinking the same thing where I thought like,
I think he's just a story tool at this point with
right.
it, but it's just kind of seemed odd to me at times.
It does,
because to me it feels like it, or they wanted him to be technically the big bad guy, but then they were like,
he was just TVA plot, at that point. He's more or less like to set up the fact that we have a time ripper, and the main villain is going to now use the thing I was going to use
what that
to
makes
destroy
me
your
wonder?
timeline to do.
I heard rumors that
Horseshit.
originally when they were doing this, Mephisto was supposed to be the villain. So do you think that they were...
How many times are we going to get that fucking Mephisto crap?
No, but like I guess this was actually like legitimately what they were possibly planning on doing for this. But do you think it could have been that Paradox was going to be like Mephisto or some shit like that?
I don't know, dude.
No
I
idea.
had no idea with that.
'Cause I don't know. I felt similarly to you, Silas, where I was like, I feel like they're setting something up with this character. Like I'm wondering where they're going with him. And then towards the end, like you kind of said, like it seemed like they kind of went like, oh yeah, we still got Paradox. Like I guess we kind of made it seem like maybe he was the one kind of pulling the strings or whatever. But then they kind of sidelined him for
I guess it's also another way to show that
he underestimated
the
her
TVA
and stuff
isn't
too.
all unified still under the new kind of
Yeah,
setup
who is
that they've
leading the
got.
TVA right now?
It looks like she is, but it's kind of their way of showing that the TVA isn't unified yet. You know what I mean? Where there are still sections of them. They're so big that there are sections of them that are just not being overseen enough and are able to do things like this. Like if Deadpool and Wolverine didn't stop him, then there would have been major consequences.
I get that. It's just I felt like they made Paradox just too much of a dumbass in a way. He's typical middle management type of dipshit.
I mean, it's a movie that doesn't take itself seriously.
I mean, I do agree.
You
It's just one of those things where you're like, a little weird. The Time Lord is basically kind of a
I'm sorry.
dipshit.
Is the destruction of my universe making you peckish?
Yeah,
And he,
okay.
and he underestimates the person with like Professor Xavier abilities, possibly even stronger, that also has like a sling ring.
Yeah.
Like, why would you underestimate that person and think, if they find out I'm fucking them over?
Also,
Yeah, it's not like he
know,
betrayed her for no good reason.
That's what I'm
to be
saying,
honest.
a sling ring in time and reality? That's fucking mad. Did you see that? How it has the time stone and the fucking reality stone on it?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I didn't really... Yeah, I feel like there was just things like... Was that how she was able to do that thing where she put her hand in their heads and stuff, too?
I don't know about that, no.
Okay.
I think that's just her power.
Part of her ability.
She was saying she needs to get her hands dirty to be able
But
to
she was
actually get into
super
the mind.
powerful.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
almost like a Professor X, but like I would say even more powerful in some ways.
Got some
but-
a little bit of Legion vibes too from it.
Yeah.
It does have like that weird psychedelic feel that Legion had with the mind fuckery.
Yeah.
But I'm not against. I kind of dig it at times.
Yeah. But that's what I was thinking, where I was like, they could have just like brought that character into this or something, but they
me,
were
it
never connected with the X-Men movies, so I
Yeah.
understand why they didn't.
I just
but,
felt it was really weird that Paradox just to portray her when she's literally doing what he wants, bro. Just wanting to kill.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
like
It felt like a weird betrayal. That's
It's
the
like
only
he
thing,
stepped in the
really.
way just to only fuck himself over, when if he had just done nothing, it probably would have gone the way he wanted it to
Yeah,
just go.
basically, that's how it
Yeah.
felt like to me, because she didn't seem to have this ambition until she realized, oh, they're fucking me. Oh, I guess I'll
don't
fuck them
understand
back.
why. I guess you are right. Where it's like, what was the ambition for wanting her out of the picture? I know that she was a wild card, but like as long as you don't mess with her, she won't mess with you.
Exactly.
So why even tempt it?
And especially with how much of a dick he was and all that sort of stuff.
I guess
it's
maybe
like,
he was just wicked
couldn't she have
arrogant.
kind of
Just so
done your
that's, like,
bidding
stupid
almost, or
arrogant.
done what you kind of would want?
But I guess again, if you don't have those things, then none of the rest of the movie happens. And like, if she stays in the void, then like there's no closure to any of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to have those parts, even though they seem stupid. They push you towards the finish line.
True.
I guess where Deadpool and Wolverine, it's their movie. They're gonna save the day. Even though a lot of it doesn't make sense, it's not a movie that takes itself seriously, like we kind of said. And like the plot, like with X-23, there's a lot of like the age gap and like what time period does they, and did they just grab them and like,
It's like you can go into all that and really drive yourself insane,
You
or
could.
you can just have fun with it. Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
that's
do
fair.
that, you're gonna be up for eons trying to like
Mhm.
deconstruct the movie and reconstruct it, and on like a
It's like,
board.
why
You're
do
gonna get
that
the
for-
Charlie meme from Always Sunny in
Always
Oh
Sunny,
yeah,
Philadelphia.
where
yeah.
it's just the conspiracy
Yeah.
chart that he had of this and it's connected to this, but wait, it's
What did you
Literally.
guys think of the chemistry between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds?
Oh my god.
surprisingly really well done. I
Right?
think. Yeah.
Unsurprisingly phenomenal. Like
And it was
we
funny
know
because
that
they
are
just
just
were
two-
stabbing
two
each other
buddies.
throughout most of the movie, and just
They
saying,
just kept fighting each other.
fuck off,
Like-
bub, and all this other shit. But really, by the end, like when they finally kind of become friends, like that didn't feel forced to me or
No.
anything.
Yeah,
like
no. Yeah.
it felt natural and everything. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wow, all they've done is hate each other and stab each other this whole movie. Yeah, unlike something like Suicide Squad, like the 2016 one, where at the end they try to do that bullshit, like we're all a family, guys, or like whatever, and it's like, no, you're not. Like you all hated each other or whatever. Like to me, it actually worked with this somehow, and I think it shows that that's how good their chemistry was.
Yeah.
Is that like even though they're stabbing each other throughout this entire movie and going, "You're fucking annoying, bud. Shut the fuck up," and
Yeah.
stuff like that, like it really like by the end showed it had a heart.
Yeah.
And like and those beats all I think played really well, like in terms of Logan's arc in that universe. I thought it was really interesting that like basically his arc was like he was an alcoholic,
Right.
and like I felt like they've never done that with like a lot of these superhero things.
He's
where
an
it's, like-
alcoholic who missed his chance and got his all his friends killed
exactly
because
exactly
he was stumbling home and couldn't get to it.
yeah, and I was like, wow, that's so simple, but like I really
Yeah.
love that actually.
And I was thinking the
and
same
it's so
thing.
real to like real life, like
where you a lot of the time, for example, in Doctor Strange 2, you've got this like Doctor Strange that like destroyed the multiverse, or like I forget what was his.
the
He
evil
caused a
Strange.
Nexus event or something.
evil one?
Yeah.
I
I forget what he did, but the one that like
Yeah.
they had to like get rid of because
Yeah.
like when they had killed Thanos, I forget exactly why he did like he was bad for some reason. I don't even remember. That's how
Yeah,
forgettable
I
it
know.
was.
Yeah.
But like it needed to be
You're gonna
some.
drive yourself crazy just trying to think of how.
Oh, he used the Darkhold, and they were mad because he used the Darkhold for some reason.
yeah, well, probably drove him crazy or something like like it did the Wanda or
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean,
too, I'm
even though
sure.
he was like on his knees, like looked like he was like I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna get into Doctor Strange 2 right now, but anyway, so it's that thing where Marvel makes it way too complicated a lot of the times, and it felt very down to earth and simple with that, and I really enjoyed that they did something like
yeah,
that.
where it wasn't some super complicated backstory.
Right.
It was simple and
like at the
effective.
time I was a little upset, like when I was watching I was like, why didn't they make it more bigger? But then I was like, no, honestly I like that it was something like as simple as he was just shit-faced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just an alcoholic.
It doesn't really fuck with
Exactly.
his character either. That's the thing. I mean,
No,
like,
because
in a
they've done
sense,
that
'cause
they've done that with Logan so much in the comics. I feel like it's kind
Yeah,
of like
Logan's
one of those
always
things
had a
where he is
fucking
an alcoholic or he has a drinking
Right.
problem, but they don't address it as much or do something with it, like in terms of a
Yeah, this
story
took like a
thing.
darker turn to it.
Yeah.
It basically was like, let's make it as simple as essentially he was just so fucked up where he couldn't.
Yeah.
He just missed he didn't show up to a thing that could have saved his all
and
his
also
friends.
like I like that he just like kind of like admitted like I just never wanted to seem like I care or like anything like that, even though he did.
Yeah, and I
And
want to make
ultimately-
mention of it too, because before we run out of time
Uh-huh.
on this, it needs to be said. Thank God we got him in the actual outfit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the outfit actually looked real
the
good
outfits,
too.
And
the
cowl.
costume design for
Everyone
this
lost
movie
their shit when he put the cowl on.
was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
That
They-
was like
they
as
killed
close
it.
to an endgame moment that we've gotten since then when he like put the cowl on. Everyone was like,
Yeah.
like, losing their shit in the theater.
Oh shit!
I lost my shit.
Fucking
I was like,
And then Deadpool just creaming his pants over it too, just like oh
I turn into
Oh.
a catty bitch when I'm jealous.
yeah, exactly.
But
What's the wind resistance on those blowjob handles?
what'd you guys think of like the needle drops or like the music they had in this?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Killer track.
Yeah.
Absolutely killer track.
It was
I
very
still
much in
don't
line
know
with
where
the
the hell
other two
Huey Lewis in the
Deadpools,
news
too.
shows up. I
Oh, yeah,
really
Power
don't.
of Love.
Power of Love is in the credits. It's listed in the credits of the movie that it is in that movie.
Ooh, know where I think it is?
Where?
I think it's during that part where he's literally seeing all the different Wolverines.
Is it?
I think it is, yeah. That montage when it's all the different
you
Logans.
might be right.
I think it is that part.
I think you're
actually,
right.
now I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Yep.
I couldn't, for the life of
I
me.
just feel like,
I was like,
you know why it's probably we
where
don't
the hell
remember?
did
It's
that
because
show
you're
up?
just so enamored by all the
Yeah, you're seeing all the
cameos that are coming
references.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not
oh
even
shit,
thinking that
it's
it's
that one.
Power Glove playing.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that was the scene now that I'm thinking
I think
about
you're
it.
right. I think you're absolutely right. I
But-
was like losing my mind over that because I saw that in the end of credits. So I was like, "What the hell?"
And you've seen it twice, and
Twice,
that
and I was like,
that
I
you
don't
didn't catch
remember
that
where
either
this
time.
where
It just
this
shows
plays.
how crazy that cameo montage section
It
is.
really
like you're just
hooks
like
ya.
so like if you're a comic fan or X-Men fan or any Marvel fan, like I said, like you're gonna love that part.
I am Marvel Jesus, and I will not be silenced, you monster.
And if you love Blade or X-23 or Elektra or Channing Tatum as Gambit, who
Oh
we
my
finally
God.
got, who they were for years they were trying to, when they did X-Men Origins Wolverine, they were going to do a bunch of spin-off ones like Xavier and Magneto and stuff, and Gambit
Yeah.
was one of the ones they were going to do.
I think I was born here.
I think it was born here.
And originally he was going to play Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine, I think, but he like couldn't. That's why they got the other guy.
Mhm.
But they still wanted him to play Gambit in the Solo movie if they ever did that.
Mm.
So they talked about doing it for like 10 or 11 years, but never got off
And
the
now we
board. So now we
get to see
finally
it.
got it. And honestly,
And it
I
was
thought
a
he was pretty.
killer-
I thought that outfit was badass. I thought his accent as Gambit wasn't too bad. I thought he was good at. I was like, damn, I actually fucking all for
Would you
Channing
want
as
him
fucking
back
Gambit
as
now.
Gambit?
Who's your language coach? Because you need a new.
Now, would you want him
accent.
back as Gambit without Deadpool? Because I feel like the only way that worked as good as it did was because Deadpool was there, in my opinion.
For him as Gambit.
For him as Gambit, yeah.
No,
Because
I think it
don't
would
think
still work.
I think I don't know. I don't think it could work as like a solo film.
He's kind of older though, so they'll probably still recast.
I
think
feel
that
like
was just to pay off that.
it would need to be with other characters for sure.
Yeah.
Like Elektra or like X-Men characters.
He's definitely not going to get a Gambit solo movie if that's what you're
No,
saying.
no,
like
I couldn't
he'll
see
be
that.
in. It'll be in. A movie like this or a movie like X-Men or
Yeah,
something.
it's
I can see him
definitely
in X-Men movie
Yeah.
itself.
It's definitely a
with
character that you need to have riff off other characters.
I mean, that's always been kind of Gambit's field to me, at least. He always
Yeah.
needs like
Mhm.
someone to balance out either whether
Oh,
to balance it out or just
exactly.
the jokes off of it
Right.
half the time.
Or to harass.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I really liked him as Gambit. I thought the music and the needle drops was very much in line with the first two movies, but I think this is actually the most effective they've been.
I like how they also make it not feel like a fucking Guardians type of fucking music.
Yeah.
When
It's very much Deadpool.
Yeah.
It feels like Guardians where it's it seems like this is Logan's iPod playlist or Spotify playlist or something, but it seems specific to Logan, not like other movies try to do where they just go, it doesn't really fit here, but like with Suicide Squad, but let's do a Guardians soundtrack.
it could be also because
basically,
they
and-
branched out from basically just doing 80s songs where
yeah,
you'll see
70s or 80s or just
70s or 80s. They actually just went out where one moment you'll have fucking Madonna, and then you got an ACDC in another fucking scene.
exactly, and then you got
I-
fucking
Actually,
Grease, a Grease song in another. So
I
That's
still
right.
feel like if we got maybe another 15 to 20 minutes where you get those characters to kind of have more screen time with
the cameo ones.
the big cameo ones
Yeah.
that had built the team together with them. I feel like that might have hit a little better.
I think it would have, yeah.
Like at least 15-20 minutes, give Laura a little bit more time, maybe show her having
Because they walk that weird in between point of not being cameos, but
yeah.
not being full-fledged characters.
And they get
either.
introduced in the last
the start of the last act, I
Last
guess,
act,
or the
yeah.
end of the second act, I guess.
yeah,
something
end
like
of the
that.
second act, start of the last act.
So yeah, I think they could have included a little bit more of that sort of stuff, or maybe
And they
just,
only make it through till the point where they, go back to their realm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Which is only
Exactly.
maybe 15-20 minutes at max.
they could have introduced them at that part where they introduced Johnny,
Right.
and
I don't know. That I feel like they hit at the right point of the film.
they just needed more.
They just needed maybe 20,
I think
maybe
they-
not even 20,
they needed
15
5 or
minutes more.
10.
5 or 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes more of just screen time where they can kind of talk a little bit more.
Because like I said
it
to
is very
you, I know
fast
she
and
had some
rushed.
lines, but I felt like Elektra was just basically just there. Just
Yeah,
to, like,
they did kind
yeah.
of shove her to the side of it.
And again, it's
then.
not their movie, but like, you know, if you're trying to build this like ending for them all, maybe give them just a little bit more time. You know, like I said, it didn't feel like a long run time. I wouldn't have minded sitting for another 15 minutes
True.
to see a
It
little
still would have
bit
been shorter
more.
than most superhero movies nowadays if they just added 10 or 15 minutes to
Absolutely,
it. So, because it was only like 2 hours and 1 minute or something like that. But
I doubt we'll see anything in a deleted like deleted scenes or extra cuts or like
we could, because the first two
but I doubt it.
Deadpools, or at least Deadpool 2 did that like
Nothing-
super
nothing
duper
like
cut or whatever.
Nothing like
I mean-
super heavy hitting or
Oh, I doubt
concrete,
it, yeah.
you know, but
I would have also liked a little bit more time with Deadpool and his friends, just to see more of the chemistry other than just the
True.
birthday party. Thing.
Yeah, I could. I
'Cause I do.
That's kind of what
I
I
do
was
always.
thinking.
I did like that gang
More
of them.
than the cameos, which I do feel similar to you about. Like they should have at least added like at 5 minutes for me or something like that. I felt like the friends and like especially the love interests like really got sidelined in this
yeah.
one.
I
and,
wanted
like,
more
no
Colossus. This is the
speaking
only thing
lines.
you can see.
Yeah.
I want more Colossus. It's like the only way you can ever see Colossus
I
in a
think-
Deadpool movie.
Did Colossus even have a speaking line in this?
Yes,
Yes.
only during the
One?
birthday
One.
thing.
Like
yeah, it
one?
was like one
Yeah.
line where he
There
basically wishes
there
him
are
happy
two
birthday.
main original Deadpool characters that have like like they're basically almost close to supporting characters, and that's Blind Al and Peter.
Blind
Yeah.
Al.
Those
Yeah,
are the only
Yeah,
two
they got a
characters that
decent bit in
had.
this. Everyone else has like 1 or 2 lines.
They were at
basically.
least like enough to be like, I would say at least like very bottom of the supporting characters. Everybody else was basically a cameo.
Yeah.
Like they are the only two characters out of the Deadpool universe I would consider being actual supporting
Yeah.
characters to the film.
So I feel like you said, like ultimately, like, if they had added like 10 or 15 minutes, they could have had like half that time be with like the
Vanessa
old
might
cameo characters like from the
I feel
Fox like Blade and stuff like that, and they probably could have had like the other 7 or 8 minutes be like.
I feel
more
like
scenes with
Vanessa
the
was
friends or Vanessa
actually
or
a
something.
wildly like mistake doing what they did with the story. Like that was so unnecessary.
That's what I was saying to you. Like it was like they just should have made it so that they were still a couple.
They
but,
were
like,
still a couple,
maybe
and he
he was
wants to save their
wondering-
universe. That's
Yeah.
it. They like she's the reason he wants to save their
Exactly,
universe.
because that's pretty
That
much
is
what they
it.
did. But
We
then they just had
don't
to add the
need
whole breakup thing in there, which you
some
know is going to
breakup
end
thing.
with them getting back together.
Which
so.
it was so unnecessary because they didn't stay breaked up, you know. And like the other thing too was like, I was confused.
Yeah.
I was like wildly confused in the first watching of it. I was like, wait, they're broken up? By the end of the film, I had realized they'd broken up at the beginning. I didn't get that.
Dude,
Yeah.
they keep breaking up and getting together in every movie.
And I was just like, why would what? Like they're back together, and I didn't even realize they were broken up.
Yeah.
Like they skip
it's one of
over
those
it
weird.
so quick.
It's one of those weird things to do when it happens off screen. And granted, they did show that flashback scene of like when they broke up.
but it's not enough.
But that was basically her only scene in the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
those are like
so
the only
it's just-
scenes with her that you know.
Ultimately,
push that.
like I
like-
feel like I said, like those beats almost kind of work. But then I feel like it's like, but I feel like it actually could have worked better if like it was just that like.
it didn't. It wasn't even there.
Yeah,
you know, like it wasn't
exactly.
even a thing. Like having her as a character is important, but like not.
But if they were gonna,
making
if
it
that was gonna be her
overly
inclusion in the movie,
complicated.
why do it in a way where people just
And
don't
her
like
and the reasoning
character?
too didn't make sense. It's like do something with your life, and it's like, dude, he's saved you guys twice.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that
Like,
was that was kind of a weird.
I
fucking
don't
way to
like
do
That's
it.
what I'm saying. They're
reasoning.
just adding a reason in there, kind of like people did with like Skylar on Breaking Bad or something, where it's just like they're adding a character in there, basically just giving you reasons to like dislike them.
Yeah.
And especially with her character, like maybe with Breaking Bad or something, it actually makes sense. But with this, it's like you
After
could have
the-
easily had done it in a way where like we said, like they weren't broken up. He was just worried that his world's gonna end, and I have this family here. Like I don't want to leave that, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And like maybe they could have even played it out in a way where like they were still together, but like things were rocky.
having like a
which
little bit
Sure.
of a relationship
Yeah,
problems.
that's- I would have
but still
accepted
together.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Maybe
they
they're
should've
not
just-
living together right now because they're having a rocky patch or something.
Exactly.
That would have been
But
acceptable.
instead, they do it in a way where, like, I think it's gonna make some audiences kind of go, like, "Man, fuck this bitch!" Like, she's not with Deadpool anymore, or whatever. And like, ultimately, it's a character.
Yeah.
So don't get mad about that sort of
No,
stuff. But
it's
like,
not worth
why
losing a
even
hair
do it
over.
like that either?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
no.
why even put the character in that position?
It's just
Yeah, when you
story wise,
don't
it's a
need
little.
to.
It's a
they're
little
barely
jarring.
because they're barely in the the movie to begin with.
Right.
Like,
So why
why even
include them
make
in a
that
way that's
plot-
just going to make people dislike them?
Right.
Yeah, remember
Why
they've
even
had
waste
like a
time on that?
relationship problem every single time where they seem to
Mhm.
get together and then they break up again. And I think the first one did something like that. With
Yeah.
after the whole that one made sense more. To be
Well, the
honest.
first one she was in the
And the-
most out of all three of these, and 2
Yeah.
and 3, with each movie she gets more sidelined.
Yeah.
Not that she's like a character I'm begging to see, but I did like her in the first one, and
Yeah.
they seem like a good fit and everything.
Mm.
But then when you're just adding reasons, like I said, to almost dislike the character, and she's barely in it, like, I don't know, I just don't think it's very strong character development
I
for
mean,
her or anything like that.
It does
No,
kind of
it's
show
really
that
not.
he's technically kind of the one that broke it off in a certain way, where he's like, "Just say it, just say you don't want to be with me,"
Yeah.
type of thing, which felt really weird too. during
Yeah,
the
that
thing.
was a
I'm like,
very weird line
Yeah.
for Wade, in my opinion. That was just like out of place for
Yeah.
him to be like, just say you don't want to be with me, just say it, and it's like, what
You're
the fuck?
basically that's basically
Yeah.
asking someone to break up with
Yeah,
you.
that made
like-
her look like she was like wondering, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Even
Are
in
you
the
telling
thing.
me to break up with you right now?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so you know, there is some little weak things like that we've gone over with this, but like ultimately, I think like we're all very overwhelmingly positive about this.
Oh,
movie.
totally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, for me at least, like it's probably in my top 3 since Endgame.
Mm.
Probably in my top 10
I mean,
MCU movies in general, but
Dude, where's Morbius lie?
he can go fuck himself. That's what Morbius can do.
He's beyond the void.
He's probably gonna be.
He's been unmade.
We're probably gonna have to see him again in fucking Venom 3 or Craven later this year. So they're probably gonna have a post-credit scene with fucking Morbius in there. You're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Michael Keaton's
Doctor?
Vulture.
Dr.
Yeah,
Morbius?
it'll be Morbius and Michael Keaton's Vulture.
And
in
they'll just set up
post-credits.
something again that they won't pay off on.
Until, well, they're not gonna pay it off in a movie. They'll pay it off in another movie's post-credit scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's like the way Sony does it is their story of when they set up something in a post-credit scene, that's not going to get followed up in the next movie. That's going to get followed up in the next movie's post-credit scene.
sounds like the Amazing Spider-Man with the rhinoceros and just ends before the fight scene.
Oh my god. End of Andrew's
Yeah.
10 years Spider-Man. Let's just have him and Rhino about to punch each other and the movie
It just ends.
You know, all the trailers and TV spots and stuff, we made it seem like you were going to get this, but
Yeah,
really, you
that
never
was
do.
actually
Fuck
even the
you.
funnier part of it.
But
Just in every commercial was that, and then next, eh.
but would you
post-credit.
say this is your guys' favorite Deadpool?
No.
No?
Maybe. It's hard to say.
I want to
I-
see it one more time before I make it official, but I
Yeah.
think I did seem to enjoy it a lot. I know I think I enjoyed it more than the second one for sure.
Okay.
It's
I
mostly
think the
between
second one's the weakest in my
Yeah.
opinion, and as we've kind of talked
Mhm.
about before, I think that the first.
I think the first is the strongest,
it's the
but this is
strongest,
definitely the
but
most fun. I
It's
would
definitely
say.
the most fun. It has a lot, but you don't get any of that if you don't watch the first.
Yo.
That's true.
You know, you don't have it without the first. You know,
Yeah.
so it is one of those situations where I kind of feel like it would, for me personally, it would be like 1, 3, 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I
think
know
that's-
for a lot of people, it's probably going to be like 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Which is totally acceptable.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Like either way, they're both amazing films.
Yeah. I'd
And
say
they deserve
for
the
me
first.
it's probably 3, 1, 2, but like I said, like I'm always that person that can be rational though, like I said, where I'm like I probably acknowledge that 1 is the better movie or the one
Sure.
that makes
Especially
more
with story-wise.
sense. Yeah,
Story-wise,
story
for
and
sure.
Story-wise,
everything. Yeah.
exactly.
But this is just so much fun and
This one did
It
make me
is.
laugh more.
Yeah,
I think, but I want to see it like one more time at least, just to
Yo.
get
Yeah.
a better feel. Maybe I'm like, maybe it was
And I
just the
really
moment.
think
I-
that,
after
like-
After my
sure.
second viewing, I was kind of like, okay, like some of these things, like I can kind of like,
Yeah.
like I wasn't, and I don't want to take this to go longer than it needs to, but I just real quick, the whole NSYNC dance on my second viewing wasn't as like enjoyable.
Uh-huh.
Like it was enjoyable in the first viewing.
It just went on for too long.
But it just goes on a little too long in
Yeah.
the second viewing, and I was like, okay, like bathroom break or something, or like
Yeah.
go do something else, because like it wasn't as engaging as the first two had, like intro sequences.
Well, I think that's
you
like
know?
part of the problem with kind of what I was saying
Or
about the whole
credit
like
sequences.
starting off the movie like at the midway point
Yeah.
was like if they had let it breathe and just kind of go naturally in a linear format, I think, you know, part of what makes movies work, even a comedy as stupid silly as Deadpool, is you have those moments of seriousness or just of actual plot mixed in with the other stuff.
Sure.
So they drop you right into it at the start.
Yeah.
And like, to me, I thought like the first 15 minutes of this movie, I was laughing a little. I was more chuckles though, but I was kind of like, I'm kind of worried about maybe how the rest of this is going to be, because these are more chuckles from me rather than like wholehearted laughs. And then as it went on, especially when you start to get him and Hugh Jackman, I fucking was actually really laughing, and I was like, okay, like this might be the best comedy they've had yet. Like somehow just throwing Hugh into this like was somehow like the thing that was missing, I feel like, from these other two movies, like their dynamic and everything. Like I really loved. So
I will say I think they do fourth wall breaks pretty good too in this.
Yeah.
And then just feeling like no one acknowledges it other
Suck
than
it,
Deadpool.
Fox.
So it's always like
Like
one
when
of those,
I'm going to Disneyland.
when he grabbed the camera, yeah,
Headbutts the camera.
that was great.
it feels like the comics where no one really realize, like they kind of just every other character ignores the fourth wall breaks.
him because
Can you just
But it
excuse
feels-
me for 1 second, real quick? Friends over. like pace walks.
It just feels, it flows really well. So
Yeah.
I will say that they nailed the Deadpool fourth wall breaks.
Oh,
for sure,
yeah.
I think. Like the other ones, I'm like, I think they did a good job at those too, but it wasn't like for some reason this felt more like
like it made more sense within the context.
they
of the
nailed it
movie
a
or
bit.
something.
I think they nailed it. They did more of it too in this one than other ones. I think, but I think they really like it's because that they're basically kind of showing, yeah, we can do these. We can do these without fucking feeling cringe or
Yeah.
annoying. It's just-
I think this being the most ambitious of the three definitely helped with those things. Like, or the fourth wall breaks, because when you do a fourth wall break, it is kind of ambitious in a way where it's like, it's really kind of like a crazy thing to do, a fourth wall break, so it really has to work.
What is Nice Pool's?
oh no.
what is his The Bachelor, or what was it?
Oh,
Yeah.
the proposal.
The
When he just
proposal.
looks at the camera and
He like,
says,
did you just fourth wall break? Is that what I look like?
Is that what you think I fucking do?
Yes.
yeah, that was great.
That was
I love that version of the character too. But yeah, if you want to see,
Proposal.
if you also wanted a Deadpool movie where you got 100 different Deadpools, this is also the one for you.
Oh,
So
dude, the references to so many of the Deadpool comics. They were good. They were funny.
is there any other beats you guys like to touch on with this? Like, any other lasting words? we haven't touched upon yet
if
or
I had
anything?
final thoughts, I do, and it's a Blade final thought, and it was on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember it. So come back to me.
Silas?
Final thoughts. I just said I'm just gonna stick with that. I did enjoy. I think this is just one of those movies that you want a good laugh at. Stuff like that. Does a damn good job. Great fight. Fucking.
Oh, the choreography and
Choreography,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
it was fucking amazing for
Oh,
those
yeah.
fights. Super bloody.
Oh yeah, that.
Almost the boys level bloody, but I think whereas the boys is very dark and like some of the things you're just like, God damn, this is so fucking depressing and like
This
dark. This has a lot of fun with the violence though. So even though you're going, oh, like at some points you're also laughing your ass off.
We did get to see Chris
so-
Evans get his skin like literally evaporated.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
and
Like that
just
was like
fall apart.
that was the boys kill right
That
there.
was a boys' kill for sure.
But
I am tired, and then the very end, I am tired of the slander that I got Chris Evans killed. Like, check it. He just plays the fucking footage of him actually saying
Yeah.
those horrible.
everything he said earlier. See, I told you. Told you.
I mean, he still technically got him killed because he's literally the one who snitched on him.
yeah, exactly. He snitched on him still though. But yeah, I think that
He said you could quote him.
Yeah, it's
I think
Johnny did say
did
you could
say
quote
that.
him.
quote.
You can quote me. He said that.
he did say it.
You know, that is a good point. That's actually a good point too. Yeah.
He said, "I don't
It's-
care if I get turned into a red pulpy
Yeah,
mess."
he really called out the entire situation that happened. So-
Literally.
And like him and Logan, he's just like, wow, you would. Can't believe you'd say that. It's so bold. It's just.
But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for this one then. But as always, thanks for listening, Pose.
Wait, did you get that thing on the tip of your tongue solved with Wesley
No,
Snipes?
and I'll think of it afterwards. I'm
Right
sure,
after we hit
right after
stop.
we hit stop. But
Shit. Bonusing at the end. Wait,
if you wanted to like know the context, it was something that he had said during their interaction in the like as a team, like in that little area.
What
Is his unapologetic insult?
I forget exactly what he says. There's a quote that he says, and I can't remember it. And
the rollerblade, the rollerblading on ice hill or whatever the fuck it is. That thing. Or
it was a
whatever.
different one. It was while they were in the. It was while they were in the
HQ thing
HQ
they were in.
area.
Huh. I can't remember.
I do like how the comedy is very unapologetic though throughout the whole thing.
It
They do
is.
not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I actually like that.
Yeah.
No stepping on eggshells. They're just going full on. Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We're gonna fucking insult.
Didn't think I'd hear Blade say retarded, but
No bars held.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, people aren't gonna like that one. Just immediate.
find it funny that whenever they do those jokes nowadays, just like Rick and Morty though, where like they're acknowledging the fact of the joke of like, did you just say that? Like,
you can't say that, Rick. What do you mean? He's literally. It's literally this.
But yeah, thanks for listening, Pose, and as always, you can find us on pretty much every podcast platform: Amazon Music, Spotify, bunch of other different ones that we don't even use, but we're on. Like Radio Public and other ones, but we love you fans that do listen to us on there. And then also make sure to check our 2 Pose in a Pod videos out on our retro-TAINMENT and BroPX channel on YouTube, as well as our other affiliate channel on YouTube, Grill TV.
Yes, and get to see us in person in Chillin' and Grillin'.
Yes.
Hopefully coming out soon.
Coming out this summer.
Coming
hopefully.
soon. But we love you, Pose. Thanks for listening.
Till next
This is
time.
Leon signing off.
Later.
Goodbye.
Peace.